down the road, and if for some reason I accidentally publish it somewhere, I'm going to get rid of it. Now, I lost the Facebook people. I don't even expect to get any Twitch people right now. It's totally okay. I just chose it because it was a third platform. I thought that I could somehow link through to Odyssey, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. And to be honest, I'm still not thrilled about Odyssey. I have a channel there, but I don't know. It just hasn't impressed me yet. So I just linked to Twitch. I know Twitch is kind of like, you go to Twitch and StreamYard. No, yeah, StreamYard. I had a few people that recommended that I try StreamYard, and it looked cool. It's still not off the table, but the problem is I've invested some time to get to know Prism right now. You know what? I could just find out real quick. I should still be on screen. So, live streaming open source software, or I probably should put app, either way. And it's going to give me the title, and I've seen it a million times. I should know what this is. It's called OSB or OBS. OSB. That's a type of wood product. OBS. Okay, so yeah, it's OBS, and from what I know, OBS isn't like the best, but OBS is open source. So I mean, just like LibreOffice that I use, it's open source. Just like Audacity that I use for recording, that's open source. And they're really good programs. Some of these open source programs, and I don't mean to just take advantage of things because they're free. In fact, I make a payment to LibreOffice every month, the Document Foundation, because it's just so awesome. I love LibreOffice. It's got so many, things. But yeah, OBS is the name of the platform. And Prism was just made, and it's also, as far as I know, Prism's entirely open source as well, at least for now, because I think it's somewhat new, and that's why I chose it. It was supposed to be easy, but actually so far it's not been easy. It probably would be easier if I spent either more time streaming, like just more time sitting in front of the computer doing live streams. Nothing against people who do. Typically the reason I do a lot of videos is because I like to be able to record 10-15 minutes of a video, then do something if I need to. I know a lot of times that makes videos come out. I'm gonna adjust my audio, folks, because it looks like my audio is clipping. Now, I don't know if you're noticing that or not, but I don't want my audio to clip. Have you guys noticed that at all? Has the audio been clippy at all? Like when I speak louder, is it sounding like it's topping out and clipping at all? I'm gonna check Facebook real quick to see if what's going on there. I might try a few things, because what's the worst thing that could happen? Now, it says I'm streaming, but when I go to Facebook, your changes won't be saved. You can schedule a live video with the setup you started to save your changes. So I'm sorry, I'm here at the I'm at Facebook, and I'm trying to get the live going on here at Facebook, and it's not working too great. I've got the guys from YouTube, and you guys have been really great because you've helped me know what I've got working and what I don't. This is so bizarre trying to get Facebook to work right. Let's see. I don't know. I'm actually, right now, I'm trying to create the event like in real time right here, right now. not having a lot of luck. These guys are really terrible as far as helping you understand what's going on. So sorry guys, just give me 1 second. I'm trying to make this work on Facebook too. Facebook's been the most difficult to work with so far. Here we go. Event settings, distribution, event URL, create event. So now I'm just creating the event real quick, and I'm going to see if it... Alright. And now it says my event was created, which it'll start in a few minutes on Facebook. Sorry, I'm gonna... Okay. I don't know what they're doing. They're not allowing me to do this the way I want to do it. And so I'm probably not even streaming it. My software says that I'm streaming here. Let me come back. But it says that there's no one in at Facebook. Which is, I mean, that's okay. If nobody was watching, which I'm not sure if that's entirely the case. And I'm sorry you guys gotta listen to me fumble around with this, but that's kind of part of the point of doing this. So let's see. I'm going to try to enter it under my own account and see if it's actually going. It doesn't seem to be. Let me see, I've got go live. I'm trying to go live, and it's not allowing me to select go live. Huh. Okay. So anyone who actually knows how to use no events, anyone who knows how to use the streaming software linked through Facebook, that could let me know maybe what I need to be doing that isn't the right thing. That'd be great, because it doesn't seem like I'm doing this right. Go live now. Streaming software. It gives me a stream key. Post in group. Got to go through this one more time. Post in group. I'm selecting the group to post to. Post in group. I've got the group. Streaming software. Go live automatically at scheduled start time. Today at 1:45, so I guess it'd be in 9 minutes, because they wouldn't let me schedule it any earlier. And then it says it wants me to complete post details. So I suppose we'll do that. And all right, so everything should be good. Let's see. Okay. They keep running me in a circle, it seems like. Like they're absolutely not letting me just go live. They keep wanting me to complete post details. So I apologize again. Post in group. I'm going to select my group. I mean, yeah, Facebook's... It's one of the smaller, groups that I have, but it's still, I value it quite a bit. I've got quite a few people in the group. And I think more and more people are... Okay. Everything looks good there. I think more and more people are actually choosing, Facebook. Facebook. There's no T in Facebook. Facebook to do things like this. So, all right. I'm just going to see if it starts when it's supposed to. Apologize for that delay. Yeah, Audacity is. What's funny? For anybody who has been around for a while, let's say, so I'm 47 and I have been a musician since I was in my teens, kind of my late teens. I started recording. Let me see. The first actual studio recording I did, I want to say I was 19, and that was just on an 8-track reel-to-reel. So there was absolutely no digital editing at all. It was straight 8-track reel-to-reel with a mixing board, and you had to get it right, or you had to do it again. There was no editing like that. It was a completely different time. Even at that time, what was sold on the market for, like little guys who could afford it, and at the time it was really expensive, was Tascam and trying to remember the other companies. Two big companies that would sell these. It would be Tascam, which was also TIC, same company. Tascam, and I'm not going to be able to think of the other one. So anyways, it was cassette, so you could actually just get in a cassette, and it would use, I think they had a way, it was cassette 4-track, and they would be able to use the 4, because usually what you have on a cassette, you would have a stereo pair on each side, forward and backward, and this had a way, because all the way that most cassettes work is when you flip them around, the stereo heads read on the head reader for a typical cassette. Then you flip it around and it has the other two stereo. Now the reason they did this is so they could fit more, like a commercially sold album, they could fit more on it if they put half on one side, then you flip it and the other half on the stereo pair on the other side. So these worked, I believe, in a way where the writers would actually be able to write to any of the 4 tracks available on the magnetic tape. And it was really simple, and none of them, I remember none of them sounding all that great. But then again, we didn't have good mics or anything anyways. That's how it started, and that was, for me, that's how it started. So that was 1994, maybe, 94, 95, maybe 94. The first time I went somewhere and did a recording like that. I mean, I don't think I was still in high school, but if not, I was fresh out of high school. Okay. So, and now we've got this. We've got Audacity. And Audacity, even, let's say, 2001, 2, 3, 4, when you had to get, you either had to spend a heck of a lot of money or go to a studio that had Pro Tools. And a lot of people who have been recording for a long time know that, Pro Tools was just so fantastic. All this digital editing possibilities. Before Pro Tools, there was like Cakewalk, stuff like that, which was okay. I recorded at one studio that actually used Cakewalk. They had reel-to-reel, and they would use Cakewalk to edit, and then they would put everything on like a half inch reel to reel, still at like an 8-track, to today. And today it's just un-effing believable. Anybody could create such amazing recordings. I've got a Yeti. I've got a Blue Yeti microphone. Now, the thing is this, and this is so bizarre for anybody who's even remotely kind of older and can remember back, you know, some of this stuff years ago. To even get a microphone this quality, just this Yeti room mic with the settings on this Blue Yeti, because Blue made some really good mics. You could get a Blue tube mic, surprisingly, for like a decent quality. For 15 years, 20 years ago, you would spend $500, and it was a really good quality tube mic. It was made by Blue. And that's what you would use for your like condenser mic if you wanted good, clear vocals, you know, in a room, or acoustic, or other things you wanted to mic a choir or 3 or 4 backup singers or whatever. That's what you would use. $500. This was just over $100. I bought it 5 years ago, so I don't remember. But I bought a Boss Katana amp because I just started playing guitar again. I bought a Boss Katana amp and a telly. I don't even have the... Look, if I move, you can see it right there. So that is, I think what they're calling that is a contemporary telly. What it has is it has a twin rail acting as a humbucker at the bridge, and it has a humbucker, an actual open humbucker at the neck. So that rig cost about $800-900. Bought it a little while ago, and between this Blue and that Katana amp, which that Katana amp has models, you could go to you could go to the Boss website and you can tweak all of the different effects and set preset channels and all of that. And for like the Katana 50 MK2, you can only get it's a 2-pedal pedal. Then the other ones have kind of a different setup. But anyways, you can make unbelievable recordings. This is the crazy thing about having things like Audacity as an open source software. And there's way more that I don't even know about, because I just got back into playing again just recently, after like 15 years almost, not hardly playing at all. There's so much out there that almost any kid who's like just up and coming, I couldn't even imagine, like myself as a kid. I started playing guitar when I was like 15 going on 16 maybe. And hey, whoever's watching in Facebook, please, would you, I'm asking, please, would you type something in the chat to let me know if this stream is being broadcast and you can see the video and hear the audio? Because it has been like a nightmare, and they're going, crap. Let me see. I'm gonna pop back to Facebook real quick and see, is anything going on? Is anything going on? I don't know. At 1:45, okay, my clock says it's time. Go live, save change. Oh, see, every time I hit save changes, active broadcast live, view post. Hang on a second. My clock says it's time. All right, I'm seeing. Hang on, there's a post, and I'm probably going to really screw up here because I'm going to check. It's time to see. All right, I'm seeing. Hang on, there's a post, and I'm probably going to really screw up here because I'm going to check. So there's like a 6 or 7. All right, I'm seeing. There's like a 6 or 7 post, and I'm probably going to really screw up here because I'm going to check. So there's like a 6 or 7. All right, I'm seeing. But it's there. It's streaming. It should be absolutely streaming. I do wish I had a friend that was watching from Facebook instead of the other platforms, but it's okay. There's, hey, Joe, what? You were here, can't stay, picture sound seems fine. You were here from where? From Facebook. Can you possibly tell, Joe, do you have time to just look at it from Facebook and tell me if it's coming through okay? There should be a little bit of a delay at Facebook. It looked to me like it was coming through okay as a live streamed window. If not, that's okay. It's no big deal, because I think it's all right. Hey, let me do this. So now that we know that audio and video are cool, let's try a couple of things. Since I got a few of you over at YouTube hanging out, thank you so much. Let's try this. So I am going to add a new scene, and I'm going to see if I can do this without messing anything up. We're going to title it Scene 3, because I'm on Scene 2 right now. Okay. And I'm going to try to figure out how to put something into this new scene. Switch to scene. Nope. Nope. It's given me a little bit of a hard time with filling my scene with something. What I want to do is I want to actually add, let me add sources. I've got webcam, monitor, here we go. And we've got window capture. I wonder which is better. I'm gonna try window capture and see if I can do the window capture, because this is something that I'm gonna have to do, I think. Well, it's not telling me which window it's going to capture. Let's see. Hopefully this doesn't mess everything up. Create new. There it is. So window capture method automatic. Window match priority, match title, otherwise find window. Sorry, I've got to look through this. Capture cursor, client area. Okay, I think it's all good. All right, so I'm gonna switch scenes now over to scene 3. Pop that in, scene 3. Okay. So, I am assuming you guys can see me scrolling on through this web page. Is that correct? Because that's what I'm seeing on my my live screen. So hopefully that's what you're seeing. Because I'm going to try to put two things in here back to back and see if they're going to work well. I'm going to open something else up real quick. Okay. Now that I've got this next thing opened up and I've got this scene, I'm going to create one more scene. Awesome. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Nose Breathers. Thank you, Be Still. Thank you, guys. So I'm creating one more scene right now real quick. which is going to be some photos that I have here. I want to make sure. Here we go. It's. I'm going to try image slideshow. And I hope it picks the right source. Okay. I see. I think it wants me to upload the images. It does. It does. Okay. I'm going to do that real quick. Now this is kind of crazy. I really have to applaud the people that are doing this kind of thing live, because there's really just there's a lot to it. So I'm just going to add these images. It's going to be my next scene. Okay, and I'm going to try doing this. I'm going to swap back and forth from scene to scene, okay? So hopefully this will be kind of entertaining while I'm getting used to this at the same time. So the only thing I don't like is that they're doing a slideshow and it's not very good. They're tipping my pictures. So I'm going to try a different scene altogether. Let me try a different scene altogether. I'm going to change the source. I'm going to go to, really, I'm going to try, what did we do last time? I did monitor capture, full. Let's see, part. And I'm going to bring up the image. The only problem I've got with that is I don't know. We're going to try it. Select area. What? No. Wait, cancel. No, I don't like this. Uh-oh. Okay. Well, maybe I should like it. I'm gonna try it. So just having me select the area of my monitor. Okay. I did. I selected it. Thank you. Wow. I don't know why they're not even letting me cancel it. All right. Big problems. Big problems. I have frozen, or at least this window for monitor area has frozen, and I'm waiting for it to stop doing what it's doing, and it's not. It's really locking me in here, and unfortunately I don't want to. Oh my gosh. Am I gonna have to do this with Prism? Am I gonna have to stop this? I'm gonna try stop. It actually worked. Oh my gosh. It worked. I just didn't know how to use the tool. So I'm going to try this again. That was really weird. But I think that's actually a really good tool. I just don't know how to use it. That's the whole point of what I'm doing here. So this time I'm going to try monitor capture full. And I'm going to pick the, sorry, I'm going to pick the photos screen. Okay. And unfortunately, why are they... Well, hopefully you guys aren't going to have to see the Prism software too. That doesn't sound like fun. Let's see. Shouldn't have to. I don't really... Wait a minute. Last time I picked window capture, right? I did. Go back down, add a scene. And this time I'm going to pick a different kind of capture. We've got web, group, scene. I really want to do image. I don't think I want to do image slideshow because that's not very cool. They're not really letting me. So we had window capture. That's what I'm doing with the web, of course, the window capture. Awesome. I think I've got it. Let's see. We're going to try this. So now we've got window capture, and I'm going to try swapping. What is that? I'm going to have to delete scene 3 real quick. And I'm going to... Now, okay, so that's scene 4. And that is going to be the photos that I'm going to try to scroll through, while at the same time having one other, which is also going to be a window capture, but it's going to be on this web page. And yes, automatic, yes, yes. Now I think I have them. Okay, awesome. I'm going to bring chat back up, see how everyone's doing. Very cool. Hi, Gerald. So this is what I'm doing. On the screen right now, I'm going to bring it back up. You should be seeing pictures that I took when I went to downtown Grand Rapids this last Thursday. My wife and I, we took a walk. It's about like maybe a half-mile stretch on the Grand River that there are these low-head dams. And I was so fascinated by these low-head dams because I hadn't seen anything like it. It's literally a series of 5 low-head dams, and if you want to say the first one is the furthest upstream and the last one is the furthest downstream, what we could say is that the first one, which is that they call it the 6th Street Dam. The first one is, they say it's measured at 15 feet. Now, I think that's 15 feet from the bedrock because the Grand River is really solid bedrock. We walked the whole length of this area where these 5 lowheads were. And it's solid. And you'll see this in some of these pictures if it does scroll through these pictures correctly, which I'm really hoping it's going to do. All right, let's see. And you should be seeing a long shot that I took. I was standing on the east side of the Grand River, and I took this shot across, and this little this concrete sort of wall that you're seeing right here with this small cubicle. There's an inlet down here, and there's this little cutout square with a terrace that you can walk out onto. This is called the Fish Ladder or Fish Ladder Park. The reason for that is they have created a small fish ladder. So fish can swim in this little opening down here, and inside that they've got successive platforms of water where the fish can just climb up until they're at the level of the water up here, which, like in the summer, the water level is very distinctly different, but in the spring, and I don't know if it's the fall too, I'm going to go back and check, the water levels can get ridiculous. I mean, there are pictures where there's just virtually no difference in the water level. It's just insane. So anyways, yeah, Fish Ladder Park is over here. And this thing is, and it's tall, man. You go on, because we were on a little platform that I took this picture from. And it's a big low head. Lots of dead trees have floated up, and they're kind of just hanging out, and apparently nobody wants to remove them. Now keep in mind, this area down here, the tail water, it's not very deep. You'll see there's guys down in there just standing in it fishing. Most of the areas here, they're not that deep, at least not this time of year. But what I want you to notice is this low head right here. This low head, you see, if you see enough low heads, the really interesting thing is they're typically concrete. They're typically, most of the time, concrete. These are not concrete. These are some kind of a metal. These are some kind of a metal, and I'm not going to say what kind because I don't know. I wasn't down in there. I'm not sure. Quite durable. Very smooth. Look at this. So what you have to understand in all of these, I've got pictures of all successive 5 of these. This first very tall one and the other successive shorter ones. They're all designed like this. They're all designed where you have the rock bottom back here, because they say that the Grand River falls about 18 feet or so over this half mile or just under a half mile stretch. So what you'll see is the rock bottom, and then this piece right here, which appears to essentially be maybe what they drove into the rock base here, just behind the rock cut. And they would have had to have made a really beautiful straight rock cut, because these are all very straight across the river. Rock cut down, and possibly installed this piece atop the rock cut. I don't know if the fasteners were behind, because I didn't see any fasteners of any kind that I would expect, you'd want to like, or these caps are many successive pieces, and they were just driven into the bedrock almost like a pile, and they just drove those into the rock. And what I'm kind of guessing is that they designed these where they had a certain kind of lip, and they took this plate metal of some sort. Again, I don't want to even guess exactly what kind of metal this is, because I may be wrong. And it would have sat here. It's this certain shape, so the water would fall over it in a certain way. All of the low heads are designed typically to, it would seem like, to get the most out of the hydraulic drop that happens there, and get the least amount of deterioration because of the water hitting it in a poor way. I think that's the reason why they're all designed in that way. And so it's going down to a bedrock base, which I'm going to have to also assume that they cut the rock down here in a very good, smooth way, and that it's also fastened. The bottom of this plate metal here was fastened down below here. Now, this is also odd because I haven't yet seen a low head look like this. This metal. And this is just another shot of it, another angle. I saw all that green, and I said to my wife, what is all that green? I said, is that something to the metal? And she's like, well, I think it's just algae, but is it? I mean, maybe, just water, plants, or anything that might grow and catch on that. If so, then it's not very smooth, this metal, which is strange. I mean, everything's going to get deteriorated pretty much when it's under constant pressure and flow from water. But I would still like to know the kind of metal this is. Is it simply iron? Is it wrought iron? Is that the reason it looks like iron? It looks like oxidized iron under the water. Strange. I'm not aware of any processes that would allow iron, any kind of iron, to sit underwater like that, unless somebody knows of something that I'm not aware of. Let's see. So now you can see the guys standing around there. Right now it is not deep at all. And so they're just hanging out doing some fishing all along here. So even this boil, he could walk right into this boil, and right here it would be waist or over waist deep. By the time he got to there, it would thin out. The worst thing this might do is knock him off his feet, because it might be somewhat uneven there. I'm sure a lot of debris and whatnot has collected there. Not a bad boil. Like, once that boil gets to where it's about the height of his head, 6 foot or so, that's when it becomes super, super dangerous, because it's very hard to escape from it. And when it's going to be about a perfectly, perfectly dangerous boil in this area is probably when it gets up to about 8 or 9 feet. Then it's going to be severely, severely dangerous, very, very hard to escape from. So yeah, that's still the first lowhead in this series of lowheads. There's some old boys fishing, and they're all over the place fishing in here too, because right now the water level is just so darn low. You can see the Grand River is about a couple hundred feet wide at this point. And this is just a backed off shot of the same lowhead again. And you can see from here just how absolutely smooth this guy is. Now, a couple of these parts I wanted to get a closer look at, and I really couldn't. I don't know what these, every time you see the foamy water in here, you kind of think, is that a defect? Is that something stuck on there? Is that a branch that has fallen and is still leaned up against there? Not sure. Now, one of the weird things about this, and it's really hard to see from these pictures I took, and I really should have took some better close-ups. I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to show you here. Is, boy, is it hard to look. I'm going to zoom in here, folks. And you see, if you can see where my cursor is, there is this guy right here. It is obviously some kind of what? Some kind of support for something that used to be there that they found they simply could not take that out without damaging the plate metal that was in there, or what? And I know it's hard to see because they've got all these logs built up. But if you go, and we might have a picture or two on official sources, it's this big old honkin' piece of concrete. Is it a pier? Did something sit on it? I mean, it seems like something would have sat on it, but what? The thing is nearly in the middle of the river. Last time I checked. And it very much looks like it's in the middle of the river. Now you can see it from here. I will zoom in a little bit from here. It's really odd shaped. The way it goes down, the way it's shaped like this here. And that thing has been sitting there for time immemorial. I suppose, if I was really committed, because they're talking about tearing this whole thing down. They're saying, they want to restore the Grand River back to its natural flow. Well, they're never going to do that, because whoever installed these lowheads, all of this plate steel and everything, they made sure that it wasn't going to go back to whatever its first original natural flow was, because they cut those shelves in it. How's it going to do that? If you want my opinion, and you're going to get it, I think they're just destroying evidence, because every reason they've given for, you know, why they're going to destroy all of these, tear them out and all that, it's really kind of difficult to believe. So let me move forward. I'll show you a few more. So this is obviously some kind of drainage with these large gates. I'm going to be honest. And you know, I'm always honest. If there's some things that I just don't know about, I'm going to tell you. Now, I'm thinking that these gates, this obviously is newer. I'm not trying to claim that this is something that was made a long time ago. I just took it because I hadn't seen these sorts of metal gates before. And I took the picture because I was wondering if that worked by weight. Like basically they were set up to where when the water, it would drain from all over the place, accumulate, and then be released by weight. So if there was so much water behind that gate, the gates would open. They were just basically, they had enough weight, but if the water had enough weight, then they would open up. I know, it's not part of the, it's not part of this whole thing, but that's why I took the picture. So this is the next one. This is the next low head, and you can look at it, and you can see it's designed in the same way. You can see the bedrock bottom, and you can see that they had to cut. Now this one right here, I would say about 6 foot. I don't know how they get like a total. Somebody told me it was like a total of like 18 feet drop, 20 feet drop. I don't see how that's possible. That first one I think is supposed to be 15 foot high. All right, and this is low head number 2. I'm telling you right now, this guy here is probably every bit of 5-6 foot high, and we were 30 feet above all of this. There's a walk on the east side that runs the whole length of all of these, and you're up above. There's some areas that are down right by the river, but I didn't know how to access those areas, and I don't know if those are always accessible. So you can see it in the daylight portions here. You know, if I zoom in, maybe try to pull it down a little bit. And it's rock. It's all rock bottom, this river, and they would have had to have cut that shear and installed, in my opinion, this plate over it. Well, I'll tell you something. I was looking really hard for seams in this plate. I wasn't seeing them. Not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying I wasn't seeing them. And we can see it, this, you know, that's being caught and everything. So that's good 5-6 foot drop. This is still number 2. This is one of the bridges. There's a lot of these bridges, these concrete bridges. I mean, tons of them, just in this really small little stretch of Grand Rapids over the river. Lots of bridges. Holy shit. And there's my foot. So this is, again, straight down, just trying to capture the fact that these are all designed and installed in pretty much exactly the same way. Now this is kind of interesting. You see that over there? Now it looks like that it might have been damaged or something's going on, and I haven't been able to walk the west side yet, and I'm really hoping to. But keep that in mind. There's some weirdness on the west side. The fish ladder park they put on the west side. Some of the things that look like weaknesses or breaches are on the west side. I need to try to get a measurement of how far till that concrete, weird concrete, possibly pier, possibly baffle thing. Okay, so this is another shot of that. You can see it's the same kind of metal, same kind of design. That might be the third one. Here's another one. And this one's up at least a few feet. At least a few feet. It's the angle that I'm taking the picture at. And you can see we're on the other side of that same bridge. And you can see that it looks like there's some weirdness over here, almost at the same spot along the low head. You know, like, huh, that's weird. I wonder if it was, you know, like repaired over there or something. It's interesting. That's why I gotta walk that west side. These bridges are really great. These are great. Some of them looked very new. I don't know if they were redone recently. Some of them looked like they had the same kind of lighting fixtures as others, but that they had redone them recently and ran the conduit for the lights to the back and put new facades on them. Not 100% sure. I wasn't paying all of my attention to the bridges, but there's a lot of cool bridges. Now, when we got past or around the third low head, it was like in this picture I'm taking, it was just off to my right, and you just can't see it because of all the foliage. But you see this enormous rock right here? It's obviously just a gigantic hunk of concrete, right? It is. It's a big, gigantic hunk of concrete. So what we noticed, hey, I'm going to say hi to a couple people that showed up on the Speed River in Gulf. Concrete there. Yeah, but concrete, right. And that's what I'm saying, Gary. And hi, Grand Theft Yoga. Good to see you. So that's what I'm saying. Most of the time, these are concrete. Now, I did see a very, very, very weird one, and I don't think I've even made a video on it yet, but I did get video and pictures of it at one of the hydro dams that I visited kind of northeast in the state of Michigan. But keep that in mind. Most of them are concrete. What function do they say they're built for? That's a good question. Actually, there are many different stories concerning why. They'll say that they were built, almost every last one of them, they'll say they were built sometime in the 1800s, mid to late 1800s. Very rarely they'll say the early part of the 1900s, and they'll give a lot of different reasons for it. Sometimes they'll say irrigation, which is meh. And the reason I say meh, because irrigation, you don't need to raise the river up that much necessarily to get the irrigation. You can just dig irrigation ditches. You can dig them a little bit deeper as opposed to raising up the river like that. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think that that's personally the best reason. And rivers tend to saturate and flow outward from where they are. If it's an issue of a lot of embankment or something where they say they need to bring the water up so that it'll saturate more, I'm not sure if I completely believe that or if there's other ways to do that. Some will say that they actually do them for pleasure boating or for fishing, but none of that really makes sense because they're super dangerous to people who are doing any pleasure boating. Super dangerous. People die in them all the time because they were pleasure boating or they were tubing, they were inner tubing, and they didn't know that there was a low head on the river. And they went over the low head, they got caught in the boil, and the boil either killed them by spinning them around and bashing them on the concrete, usually concrete, low head dam itself, or the rocks in the bottom. And if it doesn't kill them by doing that, what it does is it exhausts them because the water takes them down, pops them up out here, maybe 5-10 feet away from the hydraulic drop. But because the tailwater is putting so much pressure because of its height from the bed, the tailwaters is putting so much pressure against that low head dam that it's creating this boil and it's pushing them right back. It's really sad, but tons of people get killed from that. So anyways, yeah, and they never have, it's never a straight story, which I found that's always the, that's like always, anytime you're going to find something that is, questionable, that's going to be the thing. Never a straight story. Never a straight story. You're going to have some experts that are going to say that was for irrigation. You're going to have some experts that are going to argue that they were for pleasure boating, pleasure fishing. Some experts that are going to say, well, they were installed for salmon running, or some experts are going to say, well, they were installed to keep out invasive species. I kid you not. There are going to be some experts that are going to say they were installed as weirs. And depending on the design of the low head, there are like a couple of instances where I might say, well, I would say, yeah, maybe they could get away with that story. Like, it's believable when you see how weirs are used to measure. Weirs are used to measure the speed or output of a river, or running water. And when you see what the design of a lot of weirs are, you could say, like, yeah, I guess I could see, a low head being being a possibly a weir. Even though most of them aren't necessarily shaped like most weirs that are used to measure the output of water. You're like, maybe, let's see. So, moving forward with these pictures. So this right here is actually a really large concrete footer, or more appropriately, possibly an anchor. Maybe for an old bridge, maybe for some other structure, but I mean, whatever was sitting here, I haven't come across it yet. As far as like historical or pseudo-historical information on the Grand River and this stretch of the Grand River. Okay. Here's just another shot. It is massive. The concrete ruins that are down here. I sure would like to get to the other bank this week. I was going to walk the other bank this week and get some more shots. Got some metal. Looks like some metal sheet piling in there. Metal sheet piling is used for, water baffling. A lot of times metal sheet piling can be used in low-head dams and for other reasons, but that looks like it. Either that or there was an old road that ran right by there, and it was an old guardrail. I don't know why nobody thought it'd be a good idea to clean some of that shit up. I don't know. And here we've got, basically, it looks like some drainage, but it's real shoddy as hell. Lots of gigantic, enormous pieces of concrete all over there. And that's one thing I need to point out that I didn't point out in the pictures of the first giant low-head dam. Just about every single rock that was around there dressing out the place on the shore, rocks that they had put in the river, because a lot of times those rocks will help stop a boil. They help ease flooding. If there's a lot of rocks or boulders, they'll try to put a lot in there. And I've shown that in some other low-head dams that I visited. They'll put a lot of boulders up there near there. They're all concrete. Everything that they've put in there is all concrete. And I was standing there just not only at the first big low head, but a lot of these as I went. And then when we got to this area, where it just looked like a lot of, just like a garbage site of concrete. And you knew something was there because you could see it all in the ground, and you could see formations that looked symmetrical. It was definitely some things that were built here. A lot of scrap concrete laying around, though. Here's another low head. Looks like now the river was successively getting a little bit deeper. Like by that first low head, the river wasn't all that deep, but by the time we get to here, well, let's say this. It wasn't getting successively deeper, but it was staying the same. And if you figure it was probably about 3 foot deep, where those guys, 3 to 4 foot deep, based on the fishermen and all that stuff, then it is here too. So that low head's probably about 6 foot. But so was the last one and the one before that. That's a hell of a lot of drop that we're looking at. And I would have to say, yeah, and whatever information I've been given on the drop has got to be inaccurate, because so far it looks like we're looking at 20, 30 feet of drop. I mean, some of the people say that when the rapids, if you can count on the testimonies, they said the rapids were so loud that it was hard to sleep near them. So that's a lot. That's loud rapids, man. The low head's not that loud. It's a little bit of a softer, but the water's not high either. It's really crazy. I think I've got a picture on the other screen that I'll be able to show you of when the water's really high. Maybe not. Another great these concrete bridges. There really a lot of them. They're very cool. All designed very, very differently. Most of them are like this nice arch, point to point. What kind of bridge is that? Trying to remember what kind of bridge is that? It's called a. It's called. It's called the John You're a Dumbass Bridge. I can't remember. But I mean, it's basically peer-to-peer. You know, just a straight peer-to-peer bridge, segmented peer-to-peer bridge. Lots of them there. They've got a few trestle bridges, really nice trestle bridges there too. It's a great place. So this was the last one, and then no more low heads on the other side of that. It's like at least four or five. I should bring up Google Earth, and I could show it to you, tell you exactly. So there's all that, and then we get to the website again. Now this is a website called mlive.com, and it's supposed to be all about the Grand River and this series of low-head dams and the history of it and how it needs to come out. Now I'm not going to read all of this because, again, this was sort of experimental, though I think this has gone actually really good because I'm getting to know the tools pretty well. So it is following whatever window I go to on the browser, which is awesome. Okay, so I've got this window open with the page. Now, this picture that you're seeing on here, which I'm going to open in a new tab. Look at this. Okay, so this is, I want to say this is the DeVos or one of the DeVos buildings. Doesn't really matter. And all this crap you're seeing right here, and I don't know why, if that's supposed to be like a diver caught in the boil, like they've got a sixth sense of humor or something. They're trying to say that this is what it would look like if this is an artist's rendition of what it would look like at one of the points if they took out all that plate metal and put in a bunch of boulders, and probably going to be concrete because they probably want to use up all the shit tons of concrete from whatever laying around all along the banks of this half-mile stretch. So this isn't real life. This is an artist rendering, which, like, go figure. That's so them to do something like that. So they give you a lot of, I would say, kind of nonsense. They say this is this portion of a hand-drawn map circa 1830 depicts the rapids in the Grand River, and this map north is to the right. So north would be going this way, yada yada. And then they say this is another old map of the Grand River, same thing, north, and they're saying, see those black lines, those are the rapids. Those are the rapids. They were there in 1831. The rapids were there in 1831. Anyways, now this is the first one that's kind of crazy to me. This photo, it says this 1865 photo shows the horseshoe-shaped dam built in 1849 on the Grand River prior to its destruction in 1866. So they say this horseshoe-shaped dam lasted 17 years. Now, here's what's interesting about it, and I'm going to let you get a good see that big full view of it. It's back here, okay? So look, they're saying that this horseshoe, remember the Grand River, if it's not inhibited at all, it is a couple hundred feet wide. They're saying that they built this whole horseshoe dam a couple hundred feet. And I don't know what in the hell this thing going up the middle is supposed to be. But whatever it is, it'd be gigantic. Is this supposed to be like a huge log dam here? Because there was all kinds of info that we saw while we were there. There's like this great log jam, and you'll see it's on the page, the Great Log Jam of 18 whatever. So you can see that right there. this doesn't look like a river. I mean, it doesn't look like water flowing over there or anything. I mean, this part looks like a river, looks all placid and peaceful as can be. I don't know what the hell all this stuff is over here. I gotta tell you, I don't know what the hell that is, man. I don't know if that's supposed to be logs. I don't know if that's supposed to be like rocks and boulders. I have no clue what that's supposed to be. But look, they say this. In 1849, a rough dam was built near 6th Street out of stone, gravel, logs, and brush, and shaped like a horseshoe. So they took the time and the brains literally to make a gravity. It's basically what they call a gravity dam, where they point the dam into the area of greater pressure to ease the pressure on the middle of it. And that's usually only when you're going to create an impound lake. You make that gravity sort of shaped dam like the Hoover Dam, you know. So they're saying they made that, and you know, and it looks like all symmetrical in this bullshit photo right here. All right. And they say that they made it out of stone, gravel, logs, and brush. Stone, gravel, logs, and brush. And they're trying to tell us that it lasted 17 years. Now, there's something I gotta show you here, folks. I'm gonna say Grand River 6th Street Dam. I should get the right image up. And I'm gonna show you something. Now, they're trying to sell us that they made that out of gravel and sticks and stuff. There's a few good photos, but I want to get the one that really illustrates just how high this river gets. You know, like in the spring and stuff. I'm not sure if it gets this high in the fall too. But let's see, it should be in here. Should be in here. It's pretty freaky too. Where is it at? I just sent it to my brother the other day on Facebook, so it should be right in here. I may have to actually put in the 6th Street, the fish ladder. Let me see. I'm going to put in just the 6th Street Dam and do that search. Well, you can see it right here. The water level is remarkably high. There would be nobody trying to stand in here and fish, or in this one or in this one. But that's not the one I'm talking about. There are photos out there that clearly show the Grand River being so high that there's barely any difference between the crest and the tailwater. There's that baffle again. I know I'm pointing to pictures that on your screen are going to be quite small. There it is without a lot of trees and stuff in the way. And I know I'm calling a baffle, this, that, and the other, because I don't know what it is. Some kind of pier for something. Looks like it was broken away over here. I'd love to have a drone, get a drone out there and get some really close-up shots of that. Well, like maybe that. Here it is. Wait, that's not it. That's one of them. But look at this. This is really, really, really. Unfortunately, this is very small. But I'm gonna open it in a new window. Okay. In a new tab, and I'm gonna have to blow it up a little bit so that you can see. But look, this side, the left side is for real. That's the upstream. That's that 15-foot dam is below the left side. The right side is so turbulent because the river has risen so high. The water on the left side here is relatively placid and smooth as it comes over the crest. And then it's falling, and literally the water's so crazy, insane, turbulent right here because there's so much pressure from the tailwater refilling this area that it is just, you would not want to be anywhere near this right here. That's literally how high the levels will get in the river, like late winter. Again, I don't know if it happens at all in fall too. It's pretty rough though. And they're saying that this horseshoe dam made out of twigs and sticks and rocks and shit lasted 17 years on that river. No, I call bullshit. I call big time BS. Now again, they're trying to sell you on more ideas about their history. Painting of a scene on the Grand River in 1856 by Sarah Nelson. Sure it was. Whatever you say. Now, I love this one. I'm gonna open this one in a new. This is classic. Check it out. Go back. And they're saying this photo shows a wooden dam. That should be the 6th Street trestle back there. This is why they call it the 6th Street Bridge. It used to be a train trestle, which I think they converted into street. Shows a wooden dam built in the Grand River near 6th Street in 1866 by the Water Power Company. This dam replaced the rougher horseshoe-shaped dam made from stones, gravel, log, and brush. The new dam provided water to the West Side Canal. It was eventually replaced by a beautification process in the 1920s. Did you hear that? This is the thing that I didn't notice the first time I read it. They said this new dam, they said it's a wooden dam right here. And that's really interesting because it said the new dam provided water to the West Side Canal. The West Side Canal. I want to find that canal because I've never seen it on Google Earth like modern stuff. It was eventually replaced by a beautification project in the 1920s. Beautification project in the 1920s. Okay, we'll have to look into that. So, what on earth? That's all they're going to let me. Let me see if I can get some more like crazy zoom from the browser itself. What is this over here? And somebody lose their couch in the river? Because that's not the same sort of pier or whatever that we were seeing before. Anyways, let me get it back down to, yeah, that size. Folks, listen, go back. This photo shows a wooden dam in 1866. It said beautification. So the 1920s, they're saying it was replaced. So they're saying that this picture was taken before the 1920s. Now, I don't know if we could look over this and find some anachronisms, but I'll tell you this, which maybe we could, actually. I'll tell you this right now. If you guys believe that that's water flowing over any kind of a dam, come on, we've got some issues. The big problem is this. You can find so many photos that are taken before the 1920s, Civil War era photos that are quite pristine. Quite pristine. But when we start getting into these things that the history of it is pretty shady, all of a sudden we end up with these images that look like dog shit. There's these areas where they're washed out terribly. Like this, the contrast is so freaking high. And what is this? It looks like neon trails, but it doesn't even look like the way that water naturally falls over this. I'm just saying this picture looks like crap. That picture looks like absolute crap. So, let's go a little bit further with their story here. And, hey, Luke Chert, how are you? I'm just going to check out what you wrote here real quick, and I'm going to continue. Did a lot on the Columbia River, Department of Reclamation. Those are some shady guys. I've got their YouTube channel. I go and read some stuff from their website whenever I can. The Department of Reclamation. Yeah, they are part of the Department of the Interior. The Department of the Interior presides over a lot of stuff that's done east of the Mississippi. The Department of Reclamation is mostly in charge of propaganda concerning things west of the Mississippi. But it sounds great, Luke. I'm glad that you are doing a lot of research on Colorado River, Hoover Dam. That's a hell of a hydro project. And not only that, but there's a lot of insane gravity dams out there. You know, there are a few that are all built out of block, not just poured concrete. Really interesting, insanely big dams west of the Mississippi. Although there are some insanely big dams east of the Mississippi too. But what we mostly hear about is like the Hoover Dam, Grand Coulee Dam, and things like that. You know, for some reason we don't hear about these really big dams east of the Mississippi too. You know, it's like they don't want to talk about them very much. So I'm going to go over this next image with you real quick. Open image in new tab. Come back here. Read the description. This circa 1870 photo shows the Grand River from Lookout Park with the Leonard Street Bridge in the background and Comstock Row. So I'm familiar with what they're saying they're showing here. Taylor's Tannery has one of the 4 burned off roofs behind the North Ionia School located to the right center of the photo. Okay, and I'll tell you something. This would have to be at super high water. I checked out where they're talking about. This would have to be up from the dam. So what I'm saying is the first big low head would actually be to the left based on where this picture was said to be taken and what bridge at Leonard Street, okay? And I'm assuming that they're trying to say that these would all be logs. I'm not sure if I realize, like, I don't know if I agree that the Grand River would be getting that high without that first big dam in there. I don't know how they were expecting to move all of these logs over, even the dam they said they put in, a wooden dam, up until the 1920s. Look, I would think these logs would just smash the shit out of any kind of dam that was in there. Maybe other than a dam that was installed over immaculately cut rock. Maybe a series of dams that were designed to be so smooth to transition over that immaculately cut rock that you could hope to, and as long as you were doing it during times of the year when there was enough flow over each one, to float logs down. Then I could see that, but I'm having a serious problem believing anybody thought they were going to float a lot of logs down this river, because they say, for one thing, this river was that there was a ton of logging done in this area and floated down the river, because the Grand River, of course, goes through Grand Rapids. It goes through like Jenison. It goes near where I live in Hudsonville, and it goes out to Holland, Michigan, and there's a large lake, whether it's natural or not, I don't know, and to Lake Michigan. And if you can get all these logs out to the lake, then you can load them on boats, put them in barges, get them together, and ship them wherever they need to be shipped. But I got a problem with some of the stories they're telling and successfully floating logs down this river. And now we start getting circa 1880 photo shows logs floating down the Grand River above the 6th Street Bridge with Lookout Hill in the background. So again, they're not going to show us the dam or anything like that. Now all they're doing, they're showing us old pictures of logs in a river. Whoop-de-doo. Now, what? Maybe that is Grand Rapids with old buildings and stuff? I don't know, maybe. But you can only really mark 1 or 2 of these in a positive way. And you're telling me that nobody could clip these in if they wanted to? And I mean, I'm sorry for, some of my language, but I do get pretty, emotional about some of this stuff, like angry emotional about some things. Because I look at this and I think, fuck me, man, those are big hills back there. And I've been in Grand Rapids a hell of a lot of times, and I don't remember the hills ever being that damn big. But, Maybe that was, you know, before they leveled them, and I'm not sure they do. I mean, Grand Rapids is a hilly city. It is. But I didn't think it was that hilly. So I don't know what that's all about. Anyways, never mind that. Here's another one. Bunch of logs in a river. You know, can we positively identify any of this? I don't think so. It says logs float down the Grand River around a cable power tower north of Bridge Street Bridge. The logs are destined for the Berkeley and Gay Furniture Company in this photo. Gay Furniture. Circa 1880. Again, cable power tower north of the Bridge Street Bridge. I don't know how this can be positively identified, but I guess we're going to have to take their word for it. Now, this next photo is interesting because this is kind of a big deal. They have like a placard downtown. I took a picture of it. I just didn't have it in that folder I showed you of the other pictures. I could load it up, but I'm not sure if you need me to. Let me open this in a new tab. This is supposed to be a picture of the great, they call it the 1883 photo, shows the Great Log Jam of 1883 and the flood on the Grand River in Grand Rapids. The flood was a major disaster for post-Civil War West Michigan and could have ruined the area's lumber-based economy. All right, so 1883. Don't know exactly what bridge this is supposed to be. It looks like two shots, same fellers. This guy's got the same exact expression as here. So does this guy here. Boom, boom. And it looks like he got the same hat on the same guy there. Boop, boop. And then in this one, that guy's cut out. So this should be the same freaking photo, okay? And unfortunately, old boys in this photo got all ghosted. There he is there. There's that face there. There's that face there. There's that face there. He somehow got almost completely, boom, out of there. So what's really crazy to me, be perfectly honest with you, and anybody could say, oh, there's no way. Those logs were so packed in there together. Shoot. There ain't no way. I don't care what you were paying me, and they never paid lumberjacks very good. They paid them for shit. But you see all these, it's hard to see. But basically, it looks like there's dozens and dozens of guys out there standing all along these logs. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard the lumberjack expression that such and such thing is easier than falling off a log. Yeah. Well, you think this log jam is real steady, but who knows? Anyways, this is a mofo, and they have a plaque, you know, such and such log jam and yada yada and such and such and so and so. There's a hell of a lot of open water back here, looks like. So I don't know what happened, but I'm sure they got a story for it. I don't know what that has to do with the price of beans, but then they've got more pictures of logs that they want us to look at. Ooh, logs in the river? Oh. And then, you know, they say because they didn't have these high embankments, these concrete high embankments they built, that there was terrible flooding. I don't know if any of these buildings can be positively identified. I don't know how you had terrible ass flooding if you had fucking hills like this all around there. I am sorry. I know there are some people that watch me that are still sensitive about the F word and stuff, but look, I am just a small-minded little guy who sometimes doesn't know how to express himself better than saying stuff like shit and fuck. I try not to, boy. I do my best, but you know, I'm just a guy. Here we go. Now, this is supposed to be, this 1904 photo shows people standing near the frozen Grand River south of 6th Street Bridge at the dam during a flood. Okay, now, the water is pretty darn high. if it's that high up on this 6th Street, that's the high one. That's the one that's supposed to sit 16 feet from the lower bed to the upper bed, or 15 feet. Real high. These guys, I don't think they're too smart walking out on that. Ooh, because that, look at the water coming out from it. No, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. That's not smart. So these guys are either superimposed into there or they're really stupid. So what you don't get is this. Now this dam is more finished, and this is probably, they said 1904. Well, here's a little bit of a problem with it. If it's 1904, then it's still that old wood dam, and the water coming off of there looks completely night and day different than it did on that crap picture that we saw up here. And yes, I am going to scroll up, and I'm going to say open that in a new tab so we can look. Okay, this is supposed to be the wooden one that replaced the horseshoe dam that was made out of sticks and straw and boogers. All right, and this is supposed to be the same one because this is in 1904. The water isn't even shedding off that in the same way. But okay, I believe him. I believe him. I believe him wholeheartedly. I hope you believe him, because I mean, why would they lie? What reason would they have to lie? That's what people are going to ask you. What reason would they have to lie? Well, shoot, I don't know. I'm not in their heads, and I ain't got it all figured out. But the one thing that is an absolute truth is you don't have to have a motive in order to prove that this story doesn't add up, that it doesn't hold water. You don't have to have a motive. You know, people get convicted of murder in the 1st degree without them establishing motive, because they have enough other evidence. They have enough circumstantial evidence. There are enough aggravating factors to the case where a jury will convict somebody of 1st degree murder without them establishing for sure a good motive. You don't have to have it. And, you know, like people who say, well, if the earth is this, that, and the other, where's the map? Where's the model? Well, you don't have to have a model in order to prove that the existing model is faulty and flawed. It's just a logical fallacy. It's a knee-jerk reaction. It's something that people do to try to close down the argument. Cancel culture. So, these pictures, they say, are them actually building the flood wall. So there's a lot of concrete walls all along there when you walk along there. It looks like we got what, concrete there, and this some wood framing here. By God, I hope we're putting in concrete. And what we got in here? Just clay, dirt, what? This is interesting looking. I couldn't tell you where this is. Honest to goodness, I couldn't. But they are saying that this image circa 1911 or 12, so the wood dam would have to still be in there, according to them. It shows flood wall construction near the 6th Street Bridge in Grand Rapids. But, I mean, it's really impossible, basically, to say where this is. So, I mean, who could say? You got really no positive references. This next photo, I'll increase the size of this next photo. I'll read the description. 1911 photo shows the Bridge Street Bridge over the Grand River and the Berkeley and Gay Furniture Company. Gay Furniture. And the Bissell Carpet Sweeper Company. But what's the point? I'm not going to read the whole article, but I am going to tell you a lot of it's just fluff. Now, we do have, this is great. I love when we get structures in there that we can use as modern points of reference. I do. I love that. That's just fantastic. And this is, of course, 1911, so that wooden dam would have had to have been up. Even though the wooden dam would have had to have been there, you know, you still have, we had four in front of the first one. Each one of them had to have dropped 5 feet. That's 20 feet right there. And I mean, this out here, this looks like basically the summertime when the flow is at its least, even with the 5 dams that are currently in there today, which I'm assuming they're saying that all of them were built after 1920. Yeah. Well, I don't know when they're planning to start tearing out all the evidence and destroying it, but I sure do want to get down there and try to film them destroying it. Now, this next picture is another one that looks like a complete obvious fake. Circa 1920 photo taken from the Grand River East Bank. That's where I was. I was on the East Bank. Shows the American Can Company building at 678 730 Front Avenue Northwest. 6th Street Bridge is on the right. Yep, boom, right there. Now that would have been cool. See, this isn't even standing anymore, this American Can Company. I wish it was. That is a super cool building. That is a super cool building. Anyways, at least it's not gay furniture. Let's open that. And, man, that's a cool building. It's really hard to date this, though. And I'm going to tell you folks something right now. So they're saying, this is 1920. They're saying that's when the wood dam probably was, they said something more decorative or whatever. I guess that's what they're trying to sell off, that plate metal thing is just something more decorative, I guess. Guys, this right here, I'm telling you, this right here looks fake as the day is long. What they're trying to tell us is water passing over what, a wood dam still. Wood dam, huh? So that wood dam went from, it would have to have gone from the 1860s, 30, and then 19, 20, 40, 50 some odd years, a wooden dam held back that Grand River. Them putting logs down it left and right, it didn't tear the shit out of it. Would have tore the ass out of that wood dam. Who are they fooling? All right, let's see. Well, does it? A 3D image stereotype? Or stereograph? Right. You know, what it looks to me, we're talking about this one here that has the can building in the backer. You know, I'm just telling you, man. I don't know. I guess I would have to compare them. To me personally, this whole area, besides the fact that I don't believe a wooden dam would survive on a logging river for 50 plus years intact. I just don't. It just looks absolutely fake. The way it's kind of cut in here, the water looks and everything, it just looks really, really shady to me. That's all. This last one here is supposed to be a photo of the Grand River in 1928 as dry conditions and overuse of the river as a power source left the riverbed exposed. I would like to see some of those power source usages of it, and I am going to open that photo in a new window. The trestle bridge that you're seeing in the back here is the 6th Street Bridge. It does not look like this is the Can Company, so would this be facing south? And perhaps that's the Can Company? Goodness gracious, what is it? I'm going to have to just do a little zoom in. And here's the other thing. So what do we got? We've got a photo that is so washed out, it's hard to make out anything. Anything. Let's see. From 1928, as dry condition overuse of the river as power source left the riverbed exposed. It doesn't say standing at there, facing there. I'm trying to figure out, get some landmarks here. Holy smokes. I think that is the Can Company. I think that is supposed to be the Can Company. I'll open this again real quick. Okay, so you see that? The Can Company right there. See, it actually sat sort of out on the river. As you can see, the bridge that would be behind it right there. Now you look at it. Here's the bridge. Okay. Here's the bridge. And I think that would be the Can, because you see those two Sorry. Those. What are those, like opulent offices or something on top? I love this building. It's gone, man. It's not there no more. But, yeah. First off, it looks fake to me because the bridge, the trestles in the bridge, we should be hiding about halfway through this trestle right here behind this can company. It doesn't look right at all. It doesn't look right at all. I don't know what in the heck is going on here or why they have this big black splotch right in the middle of it. I do know this. I have seen some low head designs that literally incorporate a gate up the middle. I have seen that, where they can actually open the thing up. But the thing is, usually those designs, they count on the water levels being very similar from the one side to the other. Okay, so that when they open those gates, there's not like horrible rushing. Okay, but the concrete, typically they're concrete or stone or whatever of the low head, is going to be right up underneath the level of the water, and sometimes it'll actually be falling a foot or two. It won't be creating a boil like something like this does, the one today, or the real dangerous ones. But what it would do is it's impassable for ships and even a lot of boats. If you don't have a super shallow draft boat, you're probably not going to be able to get over it too easily. So they got gates in them, and the gates are run mechanically, and they look super old, some of these ones. Super old. The only ones I know of that are still intact like that are in Europe. But I'm not saying that's what that is. I'm not saying that that's what that is. And I don't think if I just kept zooming in, I'm sorry. I don't think. See, I don't think we're going to get any better. I don't think we're going to get any better view of it. I don't know that that's. I don't know that that's genuine at all. Okay? I have no clue, because it sucks. That's a terrible photo. Maybe I'll find much better photos. Now, see? Then they go from all this crap to this. Fishermen see what they can catch. September 18, 2012 at 6th Street Dam, a popular fishing spot on the Grand River in Grand Rapids. Yeah, get up there and try to catch the fish before they get in the fish ladder and get away from you. So, open image in new tab. And look how grainy this image is. Son of a bee. Because I wanted to zoom in on that concrete boy right there. See what that is. I don't know. Don't know. Well, I'll tell you, something stinky. I'm going to check, and I'm going to see exactly when it is that they're planning on start tearing that out. My wife would know. She went and read the article on it, and she doesn't necessarily believe or agree with everything I think, but she definitely thought that whole story about why they said officially they were going to be tearing it out and all that did sound a little bit strange. Didn't add up too good. So, yeah, we'll see. But I do want to thank everybody who joined me. This gives me a really great basis, a really good foundation of how I can move forward, because we were planning that the plan was to do the first Theirstory live stream next Sunday, starting same time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Me and hopefully one or more guests, at least a couple, are going to be reviewing a presentation that was made on Mount Rushmore. And should be a good time. After that, what I'm going to do is this. This is a basic tentative plan. In 2 weeks, I will do a live stream where I'm going to go over the Bible, starting at Genesis 1:1, using the Obery Strong's King James Version OSK that I have, that I'm still working on. It's not finished. I know some people want it published, and I understand, but I've been going over it recently, and it's so unfinished. I've got to get it at least to a certain point so it's publishable without it confusing people. I've got all of my concordance lists, the Strong's, the Greek, and the Aramaic. I've got all of them in new formats, much better, ready to go. I have to do a little bit of editing on those too. That's part of the reason why these things haven't been published up on the website. And the last reason is because we're going to be revamping the website. Redesigning it a little bit, hopefully making it easier to navigate, updating a lot of information on it, and actually adding some options on there for merch, like literally, yes, t-shirts, hats with really cool ideas and cool graphics. Because, you know, one thing I like to do is I like to walk around saying something on my shirt. I mean, even if it's something really simple, like I just got a shirt when I went up to the UP this last time. We went up to Marquette, and they had this cool t-shirt stores right downtown. And you could get any design up to, I think, 2 spot colors or something. They would print it on any colored shirt that they had there in the store, and they'd have it done in like a minute. And so I got this design that had the silhouette of the UP. So the UP silhouette, if you have seen it, it's really recognizable. And so it had the silhouette of the UP on there, and it said social distancing since 1855, when Michigan became a state, or the UP part of it. It was funny, and it was cool. And last time I had to go to the hospital, I wore that shirt in there, and half the staff loved it and half the staff hated it. But it's great when you can make a statement on your apparel, shirts, hats, other things. So, we're going to start offering that and some other things. We're still working on that fantastic Kammeyer book, The Falsification of the History of Early Christianity. I'm still working on the geography book, The Bible versus the Middle East. I haven't stopped. These are they're big projects. The Kammeyer book it's epic and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. So far he hasn't left a stone unturned. And I hope that someday people say the same thing about my geography book. That's why it's taking time. I'm not shortchanging it. If I see severe problems with it, I'm going back and I'm redoing things. I'm working through it very methodically and meticulously. And I have somebody new that's taking a look at the site to see how we can do better with it and go from there. So yeah, next week we should be doing the first Theirstory. 2 weeks after that, the first live stream word by word, starting at Genesis 1:1. And there's a lot of cool stuff that you're going to see as we use the OSK to measure words, their value, where else we can find them in that form, things like that. That is why I created that tool in the first place. That's why I want to make it available as soon as possible. But that stream will be sort of a vehicle for doing that. This stream was this and just going over the Grand River thing because why not? It's a test stream. And so that was a cool subject. I kind of had it up on the computer anyways, just for kicks. And then, 2 weeks after that, we'll go back to Theirstory. And we'll just basically, the plan is right now to alternate. Every 2 weeks, we'll have a live stream, Theirstory. And then in 2 weeks, word for word, 2 weeks Theirstory, 2 weeks word for word. You get it. So I want to thank everybody again for coming. And pretty soon, once we start getting the site more updated, cooler materials, cool stuff to buy, to wear, to use, whatever. I'll be promoting that a lot more. And one thing I'm going to do is start adopting a regular schedule, not only for the live streams at a certain week, at a certain time and all of that, but certain video series that I already have, or am going to be adding one more. It's going to be these really short videos on a certain point, and there will be a series of it. Those will actually start getting scheduled at a certain time, either once a week or twice a week. So there's going to be this certain clockwork regularity to a lot of what we're doing. Okay? That's what a lot of this was geared up to end up at, the point it was supposed to end up at. Okay? So everybody who joined me, boy, I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody again who helped me from the chat, so I could figure out what I was doing and how and what you could see and what you could hear. Thanks again. You guys were great. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next regular video that I release, but also a week from today, we're scheduled to do the first Theirstory on Mount Rushmore, the first one on Mount Rushmore. And that one's going to be pretty cool. So I hope I see all of you and plenty more back next time. Thanks again for those who joined us on Facebook and YouTube. And nobody on Twitch yet, but it's okay. Twitch, for me, so far, is almost like the streaming version of one of those old adult bookstores. A little bit like that. Not really trying to diss anybody there. It's just still getting used to the whole purple neon kind of thing. And I don't know exactly what goes on there. No, we'll see. But thanks again. And I'll see you guys all later. Take care.